Hello, Twist Out Baes. This is Kai Adia, and you are in for another episode of Twist Out, Unraveling TV and Movies with Kai Adia. And this time, we are talking about the second season of Umbrella Academy. We're gonna discuss: is it better than season one? That is the big question. And we're gonna talk about how the characters changed this season, and even some cool points about what might happen in season 3. So stay tuned, and be sure to like this video, like, comment, subscribe. And let's get into this twist out and this TV show. Okay, so the question on everyone's mind is: season 2 of the Umbrella Academy better than season 1? Hell yeah, it is so much better than season 1. It just wrapped me up from beginning to end, from the first episode to the very last. It was just so captivating. Each character was profoundly so much more interesting this season. I can fundamentally say this is the season that cemented: I love all of these characters. I want to see them win, even when they are seemingly effing up the world. I want them to win.
First off, I want to say we brought the end of the world back here with us.
Oh my God, again?
Season 2 starts exactly where season 1 leaves off. They've all jumped. Five figures out that in order to save his family from the apocalypse that they inadvertently brought on, they have to, he tries to time travel them back to when they were sometimes children. But as I keep discussing, I use melanin hair care oil to keep going. So like I said, make sure you're using oil to take down your hair. And this series dives into what each character experiences as they drop into different times in the 60s, and then again how they have somehow brought on the end of the world. It's like, even though each character has such great intentions, they are affecting the timeline in some sense. Klaus is on his Johnny Depp cult master fashion. He is tired of being a cult master, and so he has left his cult in San Francisco, and now he's back to Dallas trying to change time. He's mostly there to shift, to save someone's life, the person he loves. He's there to save Dave's life, and so he and Ben is reluctant because he's finally fell in love. And I'm like, ooh, Ben, I see the way you were looking at Jill. I'm like, something's gonna start with this. I'm like, I thought it was so cute that we get to see Ben's character develop in that sense, that he wants to, even though he is without a body, he wants to experience love, and still he has wants and desires of his own. I really liked that from first season, because we don't see Ben talk much. His story, he was introduced kind of to show what Klaus's power was and what Klaus was running away from. And then in this season, we see him more. We see his personality more. He's funny. He's just adorable and sweet. He's so willing to do what he can with his position, even though he's a ghost. And I think, and that's what comes up majorly in the later episodes, because he becomes like the voice of reason in one sense. You know, his and Klaus's dynamic is hilarious at times. It's very sad too, because it's like Klaus is so tired of having this ghost around.
Klaus, it's Ben here.
No, unfortunately, ghosts can't time travel.
Are you kidding me?
And they both want to have their own agency. So it was great to see Ben have his mobility. He's self-actualizing, as Klaus says. And I love that Klaus was like the sense of comic relief this season, but it was still, his story never became just comedic, but I like that his comedic beats were just really stronger. It stood out in the season to me because they weren't so Like first season, everyone was jaded, and we understand, we get it. I had not seen each other in like 12 years. Their dad, father, I call him Father Hargreeves because he's an ass, and we find out later why. But so everyone is kind of moved on from that degree. Like they are still have daddy issues and family issues, but we see them grow. And so as every character is dropped into the timeline, is dropped into the 1960s in Dallas, no doubt, but also this season is dealing with so many conspiracy theories. And like funny man Ron Funches says, if you don't believe in conspiracy theories, I don't know if I can trust you.
You don't believe in any conspiracy theory? You just think the government's just batting 1,000 and telling us the whole truth?
So these are like this season deals with conspiracy theories. We see in that vein that Five, Diego, and Luther, especially in the beginning of the season, were very concerned with how JFK was killed, and they were really suspicious that Father Hargreeves was a part of it. So that becomes Diego's story. He very much wants to play the hero this season too, and he wants to figure out what happened and stop the killing of JFK by any means necessary. They even talk about it this season that he sees himself as a lone wolf, especially since the Umbrella Academy was basically disbanded. He keeps that spirit up, and he tries to do missions and stuff on his own. So he keeps up being this vigilante, and I love that through his character we kind of poke holes at the superhero vigilante trope, because he tries to be a one-man show, and it doesn't always work out.
Imagine Batman, then aim lower.
And in this season, it doesn't necessarily work out, but I definitely felt for him more, because in last season he was, Diego was, he was aggravating. As cute as he is, he got on my nerves. He got on my nerves. What made his storyline very compelling was a new character called Lila.
Anything about me? I know everything. You are an open book written for very dumb children.
So as I was tweeting and watching it, I'm like, Lila is so cool. Like she really is. She's I like her character so much. Even though she becomes suspect because she ends up working with the handler. She brought so much fresh new blood to this series, and then her dynamic with the handler was very interesting as well, because she sees the handler as her mom, but then we find out later the handler pulled a Hargreeves. She just went 100 on it. Like she just took it to a whole nother level, which was just messed that girl up for life. Back to the idea that the characters are changing the timeline. So that's Diego and that's Lila for now. And we're getting on into all these theories and all this historical fiction and all these historical moments. And I think the show really captured the historical moments well. I felt the aesthetics were really brought to life in the 60s era. And, as a person of color, as a Black woman, you think about history and you think about this time period. I think about it from a certain angle. Like I think about what it would have been like for someone like me to live in the 60s. And so I love that we get to kind of see that perspective through Allison. And the actress who plays Allison in her recent podcast with Netflix that's talking about time travel and race, she really gets into that. She was very intentional in her role, and I think you really see it.
Watching the news today is no different than it was watching the news in the 60s. It was not hard for me to research what it is like to be a person of color and feel hunted. It didn't feel like I was having to reach way back in American history and unearth these feelings that I couldn't find in myself or in the world that I look around and see today. It is the same thing.
Allison's role was her storyline was vastly interesting this season. And just a quick comparison, because in season 1, her story and Vanya's were very tied, and they're still tied. But that was definitely one of the strong plot lines in season 1. This idea of trying to bridge this sisterhood between Allison and Vanya, and just seeing the strain of it, and how Father effing Hargreeves kind of fractured this relationship from the start. But the women are trying to put it back together. I appreciated Allison's character in the first season one of the most, but I was hesitant to say that she was one of my favorites in the first season, but I was hesitant to say, determine who was my favorite. In season 2, I can say for sure Allison is definitely one of the best characters. And why? Because we see her grapple with her power of having this power to manipulate people and to make them do what she wants. And as a Black woman, you really get the context of what the duality of that power and what it is to have a power like that in this age, in the 60s. The 60s just becomes such a hotbed for her character that it's not just historical fiction now. It's like we bridge into the power, having this power that you can make people do what you want.
And us. What if you'd like to make a purchase?
I heard a rumor that you let him try on anything in the store.
But then you're at this time period where so many people were disenfranchised. So many people that looked like her couldn't mobilize and live freely. So the look into her power, it becomes, the tension really grows and the conflict of her power really intensifies in this season, because she, with the snap of her voice, she could change things. But in using her power and actually rediscovering her voice, it comes with so many challenges. It comes with so much hurdles.
More.
Allison, stop it.
More.
You're hurting it, Allison.
Do see moments of brotherhood and sisterhood and just them being a family in this season that what I really just enjoyed watching. Like, interesting, we see Klaus and Allison become closer in this season.
Klaus?
Like,
Allison. Allison. Oh my God.
Oh, it's really you. Oh my God. Oh, it's been so long.
he helps her out of a bind, and then when they kind of rediscover that they've been in the timeline, they've been in the 60s together, they reconnect, and it's really sweet, it's really beautiful. And so that was one moment I really liked, that they connected more this season. But it's really, I loved seeing that this dysfunctional family binding and putting themselves back together despite everything. I'm gonna touch into Hargreeves. So something that I know if people who've read the comics likely knew that Hargreeves was what he was, but and he just gives the Umbrella Academy such pain, like just such unneeded. Like, damn, you couldn't have read a book on parenting, like Dr. Spock, something like you could have done something, but you just didn't want to. So I don't know how much I'll touch into Vanya, but I do, because she's kind of a big thing about Vanya is she has amnesia after everything, and that really kind of becomes the reset to her character and to her knowing herself. And I do like that the aftermath of that is that she's not the timid Vanya we see in first season. She's very much a little more self-actualized, and she comes into her power, and she literally comes into her superpower, and she's not afraid of it. She uses it to save a life. She uses it in so many different ways. Like, her power is very versatile, and we see that explored this season too. You're just like, what can't she do with the dang power of sound? And so that's really cool. And we just see her have this amazing storyline on with this family in Dallas. And so I love that she's more independent this season, and I like that. What's hinted throughout the season is like everybody knows that Vanya inadvertently becomes the bomb that sets off the apocalypse in season 1, and they're just like, is this gonna happen again this season? And as a viewer, I definitely did not want that to happen. I wanted her, because Vanya's a good person. Like she doesn't want to necessarily hurt anyone. She doesn't want to cause pain. It's just she has a powerful superpower, and this is what struck me with season 1. I'm like, they painted her to be the they painted her power to be the bad guy, and then in being so self-isolated, like that, she plays into that role in season 1. But I really appreciated and that Ben becomes the voice of reason. And so even though Ben is a ghost and his ability to talk with his family is very limited, he becomes the voice of reason in a crucial moment that averts doomsday happening. And I love that he was the change piece there, because even as Allison was fighting, she was really fighting to get to her Vanya and calm her down, because her power was again being exploited in this season, but this time through the FBI, not her father or the serial killer dude. And so even as Allison tries to get her and help her come to her senses, and then Diego tries, but he can't either, and Klaus even tries, who ends up being this big change agent is Ben. And I love that he, in the moment of going deep into the recesses of her mind, he tells her, like, you were always you were treated like a bomb before you even were one. And I'm just like, yes, thank you, yes. Father Hargreeves, the big D of them all, he was afraid of her, and him being afraid of Vanya causes so much unnecessary strife and pain, and it's in her life. And I love that Ben broke that down, and he just because I'm like, is it really that hard to see? Like, because she wasn't able to experience her power and work through her power, that's why it becomes so explosive. But I love that this season, Vanya in herself, even though she has amnesia, she turns her own character around and learns how to use her power. So yeah, and so I love that moment. That's another sibling moment that I really loved between them, and that is what I hope we get to see more next season. But yeah, we can talk about how next season's gonna unfold. Season 2 has definitely ended on a cliffhanger, because now it's like Father Hargreeves done pulled a fast one again, and now the Umbrella Academy ain't the Umbrella Academy no more. So there's so many changes that are going to be happening in season 3. Well, at least for the time being, it feels like the seasons, the story is going to pull away from this family trying to stop the end of the world, for at least in the sense of doomsdays and apocalypses, happening in the storyline. And I love that it's going to focus on the fact that there are other special children, like 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 7. They weren't the only characters born on that day in October. Again, this new fresh character, Lila, gets kinds of weaves that story in that there are other children. Now, how are we going to deal with these other children? And how are we going to deal with these other people who've likely had jaded childhoods too? What happens to them now? I mean, at the end of the day, that just brings more cool hurdles into what season 3 could hold, because she's got away. So what's gonna happen? Did she, since Umbrella Academy seems to be changed. Is she gonna be in the new version, the Sparrow Academy? Is she gonna be a part of that? And if you know how the comic books end, maybe you know. I don't know. But I'm gonna just stay tuned to what the show has to say about everything. The show is an incredible adaptation of the comics, but it is only loosely based on the comics. So it doesn't take the comics as law or anything like that. So neither shall I. So, yeah, so love to know what your thoughts were. I feel like I've touched on everything I wanted to talk about in this video. So that'll be my thoughts this time around. So let me know your thoughts, Twist Out Baes. What did you like about this season? Did you have a favorite moment? Did you have a favorite character? Did you like the characters more this time around too? Let me know in the comments. And I'm gonna keep finishing my hair, and I will likely keep talking soon. This edge controller I bought from a black-owned beauty supply store called For the Culture. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Ooh, oh my God. One thing I forgot to say. I praised Allison so much this season, but something that I was so grateful for. I know it's gonna sound super superficial and vain, but it's for jokes. It's just for jokes. So just to just chill. I was so happy that they changed her hair this season. Oh my God. That blonde was getting tired. I'm sorry. It's the truth. That blonde was getting tired. And I'm so happy that they just went with, just go back to black. Just go back to your roots. Literally, because her roots were showing. So let's just take her back to her roots and give her. I'm just like, I'm so grateful she found that salon. Thank you, girl. Thank you, Storyline. Thank you, Allison. Ooh, that was working my nerves, season 1. Please let me know if I'm not alone in this party. Please let me know. If you like the blonde hair, cool. That's cool. If you like the blonde hair, that's cool. And I love that aspect that they brought in the black hair salon, because black hair salons, they're just not places where you get your hair done. They're just these vital spaces, like the black barber shop, the black hair salons, where you get your hair done. It's where you talk, where you get news. It's where you discuss with your friends, family, everything. Your hairstylist just gives you all the lowdown, or they get the lowdown from you on what's happening in the world. And yeah, and then I just love that this hair salon became a place where this civil rights activism was really taking place. And I know we touch on, and you see in history that the black church is very pivotal in moments like this. But I like that they kind of shifted it away from that and just talked about everyday people, wherever they could gather, wherever they could have meetings, they'd use those spaces. And so I really liked that the black hair salon was really really important in this, and really talked about. And even, I know I'm talking about Allison a lot. I don't even know if this is gonna make it into the video, but I do like that, because even as I connect it to that this season is very much, it's not different than the time we're living in right now. But I also like that through Allison's story, this aspect of the black female experience and dealing with racial injustice, dealing with social unrest, and actually being the forefront, being the active voice in these movements. I like that we got to see that.
We need to postpone the sit-in.
No way.
Excuse me?
Kennedy arrives in 5 days. We have to take advantage. We can't wait.
And kind of honor that in her story. That is so important, because even in the Black Panther movement, even in the civil rights movement spaces, the work that Black women did, it still got put to the sideline. Allison's story really brought in another crucial aspect of like these historical moments and movements. They would not really happen without the work of Black women. And I think the power of the salon really really hammers that in too. So yeah, I'm gonna get done with this look, and I'll be right back. This is how my look is turning out. Hope it's not looking too much. So as you can see, this is the look. I hope if y'all like this, if you like this video, if you like this twist out, please let me know in the comment section. Let's just have a discussion. Are you super excited about season 3? Let me know and let's get talking. And so again, like, comment, and subscribe. And so hold into your seats, hold into your edges, because these videos are coming at you. Okay. So see you next time. Bye.